Odds on our next panel will be a corker. So put your FanDuel apps away and get ready to hear from the creators and stars of Bookie. The Max comedy stars Sebastian Maniscalco as Danny, a seasoned LA bookie who finds himself in a number of perilous situations, including the potential legalization of gambling in California. Hopefully this group will give us some hot tips on the ponies, as well as give us the inside track on the show. So please welcome co-creators and exec producers Chuck Lorre and Nick Bakay, and stars Sebastian Maniscalco and Omar J. Dorsey. Before we kick off, let's watch a clip.
Hi, we're here to see Bobby Knox.
Who should I tell him is here?
Can you do us a favor? We want to surprise him.
Big day.
Penthouse. Elevator's on the left.
Thanks. Hey, Bobby.
Hey, Danny. Ray?
Hey,
What's the plan here?
What's it look like?
So you're gonna jump.
Danny.
Smart money's on Splat.
There's no reason to stick around. People, they only like me for my money, and that's all fucking gone.
Bobby, look, man. I know it's hard. I've been there. I ran through every last penny that I had. But I'm not giving up. There's too much good in the world, and I want to be a part of it. I want to bear witness.
What's good?
Are you kidding me? The sound of a baby's laugh. A beautiful woman. Magnificent sunset.
Yeah, no, sunsets, sun-ups. Can't forget sun-ups, you know? Scrambled eggs with a side of hash brown, some toast with some strawberry jam, organic broccoli. Good and good for you. I mean, I could go on.
Please don't.
When was the last time you ate? Had a decent night's sleep?
It's been a couple days, you know? Kind of been on a run.
That could be affecting your thinking.
I'm really sorry about the car.
It's okay. Just come on down.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, good. I'm gonna set that aside for the moment and enjoy the fact that a man is alive because we did the right thing.
Yeah, I guess.
I think he took another thought of the organic broccoli and thought, it's just not worth it. Sebastian, let's start with you. You're best known for your stand-up. What was it about wanting to get into series television? What was it about this story, these guys, that attracted you?
Yeah, so thanks for coming, everybody, this early in the morning. Appreciate it. For me, I was just always looking to get involved in TV in some shape or form and never really found a really good vehicle for it. And then in talking with Chuck and Nick, they presented me with this idea of a bookie, which I really gravitated to just because you don't really hear a lot of TV shows centered around a bookie, and I was tired of playing myself in a lot of these projects that I was doing. So yeah, that's kind of what lent me to be interested in this.
Yeah, fair. Chuck, is it right that you watched The Irishman, saw Sebastian in that, and thought we should come up with something for him?
His Crazy Joe Gallo scene with Joe Pesci and Robert De Niro, it was something else. Yeah. And that's when Nick and I thought, all right, we don't want to go with psychotic killer. That's maybe not the approach that we would be best at. But a guy who's living in that gray area, who's a criminal, but you know, the kind of criminal that is probably more of a victim than a predator, and that's what made this whole thing come together for us.
He's the kind of criminal you can root for. right?
You can root for, and he takes so much shit along the way. And that was part of the fun of it is it's hard to be a criminal in the city.
It's really tough out there for them, right? You and Nick have worked together on a number of other shows, Mom and Bob and Hearts of Abishola. Were you looking to do something else in this gray zone, or was it seeing Sebastian that made you go down that route?
It was a combination. This is an area that I found fascinating. It's, it touches on things that I've done in other walks of my life. But it really was sitting down. The idea of working with Chuck and Sebastian was really exciting to me. And then we realized this is a chance to do something deviant for us and not write a living room and who's going to take the fucking suitcases upstairs. Let's break it up a little bit. And this show has really been a wonderfully fun departure for us as writers.
You alluded to some of the things you've done before, but they've fit very much in this world with your work on ESPN, and you've both worked on those comedies before, but have this betting background, right? Is this a sort of melding of the two?
Yeah, it was. It turned out to be really interesting timing. I used to do a betting segment about NFL bets gone bad on SportsCenter for years, with my wife as sort of the long-suffering wife, and what's ironic is we got shut down by the NFL when their contract was up to do games. And that's when, long enough ago, I think Tagliabue was commish. And, he was like, wow, we don't partner with betting,
Do now.
They sure do now. And, cut to now where we have it, they have official betting partners. I have to tell you, the Ohtani thing fascinates me right now because it's ripped from the headlines, and it's so our show. And here's a guy, he's a pro player in LA where it is not legal yet, which is a big part of our show. And the way they're handling this, it keeps making me think of like when Babe Ruth missed, 2 months of the 1925 season because he had a tummy ache, syphilis. And we look back on that and it wasn't reported because we think, well, they didn't report things back in that day. But I'm watching how this is handled now, and he's that same kind of unicorn that's so good for the game. I don't think they want him to be perceived as partnered up with gambling. So all these gray areas are gold for our show.
I don't think any of us expected the words Babe Ruth and syphilis to come up this morning, so I applaud you for that. Sebastian and Omar, it's essentially a buddy comedy between these two guys, right? They're bookies, but this is a really fun relationship thing between the two of them. Is that how you see it?
For sure. Just working with them all the time, I'm noticing Ray and Danny are a lot like Nick and Chuck. So whenever we hear them laughing in the back, we know we're doing our job. But yeah, it's a love story between two guys who are brothers, right? And that's the way I've always perceived it. Even the first time that I came in and auditioned with Sebastian, I could feel the chemistry there from that first second. And I was like, I think I might get this job. Because we were there, we were just on like that, and it was perfect. But yeah, that's how I look at it. It's a workplace buddy comedy. Yeah. It just happened to be the workplace. It happens to be the streets of LA.
Did you feel that chemistry as well, Sebastian?
Yeah, so when Omar came in to audition, he was the first one that walked through the door. He came in, and for the actors in the crowd, he came in prepared, right? There was, off book. He was playing around, very loose, and I don't know. I felt like I might have went to college with this guy. I felt like there was a relationship already established there. So it was kind of easy to kind of go into the first season with him, him being a seasoned actor, and me not doing this as much, kind of guiding me along. He's kind of really a great guy to bounce things off of, and hey, man, what do you think of this? What do you think of that? Am I doing this right? So he definitely helped me throughout the process of the whole thing. So it felt very natural.
Yeah. Ray is a former football player, as Nick says. He's a hard guy. He could break your bones, but he's also a bit more sensitive and, dare I say it, woke than you expect him to be, right?
For sure, yeah. He's like he said, he's a visual deterrent. He doesn't. He looks like he can break your bones, but he's a pacifist until shit comes to shit. and somebody has to get touched, you know. But yeah, I really like playing him because, like you say, he's the woke part of him, of the duo, right? Whenever Danny might say something off kilter, he'll bring him back. Hey, that's not really that nice. We can't talk about people like that anymore. You know, yeah. So it's a really it's a great character to play. You know, because you really have never seen anything like that before.
Yeah. And he buys his mama a house. That's quite
Buys
nice.
Buys grandma a house in Brentwood, and you know, and this season we're having a real good time with grandma. Grandma comes in throwing 100 miles an hour every time she's on set. If you guys watch the show, you're going to be watching for grandma. You're going to be forgetting about Ray and Danny after a while.
Does her husband survive?
We don't know that. Got to watch season 2.
Spoiler.
And what about Ray? Like we said, you sort of root for him. I can't quite tell if he's a good guy who's doing a bad thing. I mean, he's cheating on his wife, and he sort of doesn't necessarily treat her the best on one hand, but on the other hand, I think he cares for her, right?
Yeah, I don't know. There's so much dysfunction going on in the show that, I don't know, I feel like it's just okay. I mean, he's got three girlfriends?
3 baby mamas.
Yeah.
And 4 girlfriends.
He's just such a nice guy. It's like, yeah, okay. Sounds about right. But yeah, I don't know. It's just, there's so much going on in the show, and I would think, as I'm watching the show, I'm kind of rooting for these guys, but we're really not, I don't know. I don't think we're that bad, are we?
Chuck, you talked about the gray area, the criminality of it. I heard you say it was actually quite difficult to make with the NFL as well, almost echoing what Nick said, not allowing clips to used in the back. Was it tough to sort of figure out some of the?
Well, we learned that the NFL does not condone illegal gambling. So that leaves FanDuel, DraftKings, MGM, Caesars. Anything they have a piece of is legal gambling. So we did run into that wall. Yeah.
Quite timely, what's going on in LA in baseball.
It's front page news now, yeah.
Yeah. You kind of expected that when it's pretty good press or promo for season 2, I guess.
We can't believe that anybody'd be stupid enough to bank wire millions of dollars because you can't hide that.
No,
you know, I mean, it's a cash business when you're running a book. Right. You don't write a check.
no. And we have a lot of consultants, and
yes, we have.
they were very forthright in pretty remarkable ways. The one thing we could never pin them down on was cash. Yeah. You know, we always say, like, but in the modern world, isn't cash an unwieldy thing? And they go, no, it's great. It's great, babe. Yeah. You can pay your mortgage with cash? Absolutely.
No, you can't.
No. So we never, you know. So we watched the Wire thing fascinated us. Yeah.
And it was great to see you back with Charlie Sheen, a nice little 2.5 Men, inspiration. How was that for you?
It was wonderful. It was really, truly wonderful. After so many years, for us to reconcile, and I've always been an admirer of his work. His work is impeccable. Yeah. After all this time, his chops are undiminished, and we had a lot of fun. And it was an extraordinary experience to put everything behind us and work together again. It was wonderful.
Charlie strikes me as the kind of man who might own Joe Namath's jacket. Is that from real? Is that a real story, or is that purely fictional?
We made that up.
You made that up.
But that shot of Sebastian walking out of the house with that coat on is one of the highlights of my career.
Can we expect to see Charlie back maybe in season 2?
I believe you will.
You will. There we go. Talking of that, are you writing it at the moment? Are you sort of working on season 2 as we speak?
We're in production now, yeah, and we were lucky enough to have enough time to write the whole season before we started.
That's unusual for you, right?
It's a gift, so you can just focus on what's in front of you.
Yeah. Other than Charlie, can you give us a tease where you're taking these guys? What sort of bother are Danny and Ray going to get into?
Go ahead.
Oh, well, the interesting thing about their lives that we loved from season 1 was, number one, it's that kind of job where you walk through the door thinking you're just going to collect an envelope and then things get weird. That's what we just watched on that clip, right? It's one of the things we love about the premise. So every collection is an adventure. And they're also in a business where they have large windfalls, and then they are also vulnerable to predators, and they can get cleaned. There'll be a roller coaster ride, and there might be a trip to Costa Rica. We'll see.
Danny doesn't sell the book, does he, Sebastian?
I'm sorry?
Danny doesn't sell the book, does he? That would.
No, I can't give you anything. I don't even know if I'm allowed to even speak on this season. No, am I like I'll say something and in the back they'll go, "What are you doing, bro? you can't give it away." No, you just gotta watch.
Yeah, fair enough. Like all good bookies, you keep your mouth shut, right?
Just keep my mouth
Yeah.
shut.
What's that?
Oh, Hector.
Oh, God
Yeah.
bless Hector. Jorge is
Jorge
awesome.
Garcia.
Well, on that note, Sebastian, Omar, Chuck, and Nick, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.